The House has voted in favor of holding U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress. The vote, 216 to 207, almost entirely on partisan lines. Today's vote came about after a month after two Republican-led House committees advanced a resolution to hold Garland in contempt for defying a congressional subpoena. Garland says the contempt effort is unfounded and serves, quote, no legitimate purpose. Nikole Killion is on Capitol Hill. She joins us now. So, Nikole, this is a dispute over Special Prosecutor, Special Counsel Robert Hur's interview with President Biden. It's really not about Robert Hur's decision not to charge former President Biden, or when President Biden was not president, for his handling of classified documents, but about an interview between the two and an audio recording therein. Explain that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, basically, this contempt resolution was about holding the Attorney General in contempt for defying a congressional subpoena. That subpoena issued by the House Judiciary Committee to turn over these recordings that you just mentioned, audio recordings between President Biden and Special Counsel Robert Hur. We know that the president sat for a pretty lengthy interview with the special counsel, and while lawmakers did receive a transcript of that interview, Republicans in particular wanted the audio recordings to make sure that it was consistent with the transcript. But Democrats argue that Republicans are really trying to exploit this for political gain, and that at the end of the day, executive privilege was exerted over these recordings. So there's really no need for lawmakers to have them. So that is kind of what this contempt resolution is all about. And we saw just a short time ago, of course, the House moving forward to hold the Attorney General in contempt. That vote mostly falling along party lines, 216 to 207, with only one Republican defecting.
I want to give our audience the benefit of a statement just released by Attorney General Merrick Garland. It reads, "It is deeply disappointing that the House of Representatives has turned a serious congressional authority into a partisan weapon. Today's vote disregards the constitutional separation of powers the Justice Department need to protect in its investigation, and the substantial amount of information we have provided to committees. I will always stand up for the department, its employees, and its vital mission to defend democracy." That from Attorney General Merrick Garland. House Speaker Mike Johnson met with Senate Republicans today in preparation for their meeting tomorrow near Capitol Hill with former President Trump. You asked him about this. What did he have to say?
Yeah, that's right. And also worth noting the Speaker's statement on that contempt vote, too, saying that this was something that the House didn't take lightly and that they're just simply seeking transparency with respect to the special counsel investigation. But with respect to this meeting tomorrow with former President Trump, look, the Speaker has been actively working to lay the groundwork for the first 100 days. If the former president is elected, that is something that he talked to Senate Republicans about, and I asked him more about his plan. How much of this agenda will involve using budget reconciliation? Is that something
I think that will be a big part of what we're planning, because it's an important tool that we have to forge policy change. The Democrats used it very aggressively when they had the levers of power, and we're going to reciprocate.
So I asked him about budget reconciliation because, as you know, Major, that is a process that doesn't necessarily require a full majority. It can only require a simple majority. And as the Speaker referenced, we've seen Democrats use that tactic to try to push their policies forward. I asked Leader Schumer his response to that. And, of course, he blasted the Republicans' agenda and said whether it's done by reconciliation or otherwise, that is why, in his view, he believes Democrats will be successful and win this election. So obviously, both sides kind of talking up their respective parties. But it is worth noting that certainly Republicans are not only trying to show a sign of unity in meeting with the former president tomorrow, but also trying to start planning their agenda as well.
Also worth noting that during the Trump administration, Republicans, when they were in the majority, also aggressively used budget reconciliation to push forward their agenda and enact it. You also got a chance, Nikole, to speak with a very well-known music star, I think that's fair to say, who was at the Capitol today. What was Usher doing in Washington?
Yeah, on a much lighter note, I think the reaction up here was, oh my gosh, for those who are big Usher fans out there. But look, on a serious note, he was here to talk about diabetes prevention and screening. He met with both Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock and Leader Hakeem Jeffries, among others. Take a listen to our exchange.
Did you focus on diabetes? And why is that an important issue for you, sir?
Screening for type 1 diabetes.
So as you hear, there are a lot of excited Capitol Hill staffers and fans waiting in the wings there. But in terms of this effort to raise awareness around diabetes, I mean, this is something that Usher later told me and other reporters, is very personal for him. One of his children suffers from type 1 diabetes, so he does want to raise awareness out of this issue, and also said that he may potentially, consider coming back here to Capitol Hill. There is legislation already in the works by Congresswoman Diana DeGette, and she met with Usher as well, and she told me that that legislation basically would help expand screenings and expand access to diabetes prevention programs. So it is something that was a key topic of discussion among lawmakers and Usher here on the Capitol today. No songs or singing performances took place, but certainly a lot of substantive discussion around a very critical issue that also disproportionately affects African Americans.
Advocacy needs eyeballs, and celebrities like Usher bring eyeballs to be sure. Nikole Killion, thank you so very much.
You bet.